She's just out here living life vicariously through her child, and she wants to come in and take over the household. And you're going to listen to me, not to your husband. Just totally out of line and out of place. And,
Mm.
same thing with the child running to the parents, and the parents not direct their child back to her spouse and say, no, we're going to tell you this, but your place is here. You took this man's hand. You said for better or for worse, till death do us part. We gave you away. You are
Yeah,
now
and
his responsibility.
uh-huh.
So, but we don't know how to get these parents out of the marriage, or the parents don't know how to get out of the marriage, and that causes so much conflict. How do you handle this?
Okay, I am so happy you brought it up because we've had to go through this, in previous relationships and stuff like that. But ladies and gentlemen, just like Toby said, when you get married to your spouse, you as the man, you leave your mom and your dad and you cleave to your wife. You as the wife, you leave your mom and your dad and you cleave to your husband. You two, you as the wife, you as the husband, you two are the only ones that's accountable to each other. You two are the only ones who you have to answer to. Okay? And when you start what I call allowing invaders to come into your marriage, nothing good can really come from it, especially if they're coming in a negative aspect. Just like Rome was big and powerful and it got conquered from the outside by barbarians that didn't mean Rome any good, Rome eventually fell, and this is one of the greatest civilizations to grace the Western world. But it failed. It crashed and it burned. And if a civilization can crash and burn, a relationship, a marriage can crash and burn miserably because you allow outside invaders with negativity to come in and destroy your foundation. Now, a lot of the times, even with the daddy's girls, Toby, you talked some about the mama's boys. And as men, I have seen some of us guys are so attached to our moms that we might as well not be married. We might as well not have another woman in our life because our mom is taking care of everything. And that relationship is toxic because now the mom, like you said, who may not have a man of her own, who may not have a life of her own, now she's living vicariously through her son. Now she is taking on the role of, I'm my son's woman. And my son, I'm the only woman that's going to love my son more than anybody else. I'm the only woman that's always going to be there for him, and he needs to love me more than any chick out here in the world. He needs to love me first. Now, Mama, I'm going to talk to you first, then I'm going to talk to the fellas. Mama, a lot of times when you were coming up and you were raising your son to be a man, and maybe there are times when his father, you didn't really get along with him because his father might have been doing stupid things and not putting you as the wife, you as the mother of his child first. Sometimes that father may not have been cheating on you or doing anything, low down, but maybe, just maybe, he put his mama ahead of you. And that just pissed you off so much because you the one was in that hospital room and pushed out that baby for him. You the one went through all the pain and the agony of delivering this beautiful son for this man, and he has the nerve to put his mama before your needs as his wife. And it ticked you off, and it destroyed your relationship. Now fast forward 20, 25, 30 years, and now you're the mom that's looking at your son, and because things may not be going right with you at the moment, Now you're putting pressure on your son to say you need to put me first because you have to fill in the gaps, to fill in the voids that your father left, that other men who may have been in my life have left. You have to be that man for me. And to hell with the needs of your wife. Now history is repeating itself. Now, sons, you have seen and may have been upset by the fact that your father did not put his relationship with your mom first and he left, or things happened in that marriage and you as the child suffer for it and you hate him for it, you dog him out for it, you won't forgive him for it. Now you are the father. Now you are the husband. And your mom, as much as you love her and cherish her, ain't nothing wrong with that. But your eyes are not focused on the woman that it needs to be focused on. Focus more on your wife. Your wife is your life. Your wife delivered children for you to enhance your life. She is the woman that needs all of your attention. You take care of mom when you can. You tell her you love her. You kiss her. But you focus on your wife and do not make the same mistakes as maybe your father did. Because just like dear old dad pissed you off and destroyed everything and you consider him a selfish SOB, you got your own children looking at you the exact same way, and you wonder why your life is not right. You wonder why your marriage ain't right. So I wanted to really focus on, because you focused on the daddy's girls, okay, and told the women to cleave to their husband because daddy had his time to take care of her. And daddies and mommies only need to step in to their adult children's relationships in times of peril, in life-threatening situations. But if it's just arguing, and when our daughter come to us and say, well, I'm having a little issue with my husband, we like, well, you go fix it with your husband. Mm-hmm. You go fix it with him. You talk to him. And don't be bringing a whole bunch of people into your marriage because it's going to destroy it. And when I talked to our son-in-law, I told him, please feel free to talk to me about my child because I know my child. And when, not if, when she pisses you off and you done had enough of her and you done walked out the house and you just need to talk to somebody, then you call me. And you talk to me, and I'll calm you down, and then and we gonna get this thing worked out. But I don't ever look at our children as saints and angels, and that they can't do no wrong, and it doesn't matter what they did. Their spouse has to accept their garbage. That never has happened with us, and I think our children really appreciate the fact that we are level and we are even and we are real with them. We teach them how to maintain their marriage, not to selfishly self-destroy it.
Right, and I would never, ever, 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 when our daughter and our son-in-law become parents, and, of course, she's never been a mom before. Of course she's going to call her mom. Mama, what's this going on with my body? What's that going on with my body? I'm going to give advice, but I would never assume to go into that man's house and take over. This is his house. Every man is the king of his castle. They're married now, and he is the king of his castle. I'm not going to come in here and start saying, you need to do this, you need to do that, and we going to do this, and we going to do that, and blah, 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 blah. And, even put our daughter in a situation where she feels like, oh, my gosh, this is my mom. I love and respect my mom, but this is my husband. Now I'm in the middle. What do I do? That's unfair to the child that you are there to, assist. And I don't see any reason why I would be moving in anyway. I'll give advice over the phone. And that's another thing, too. I think a lot of this stuff in these situations happen when there are single parents involved in, their child's life. They don't have, a wife doesn't have a husband to say, okay, hold on, you're doing a little bit too much here. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of this time it's a single mom that's coming in trying to take over everything, and this is my boy, but either the father's deceased or he's not involved, or she doesn't have a second husband, a third husband, whatever the case may be. Could be Liz Taylor, eighth husband, somebody in the husband role, to balance this temperament out. And the same thing with like you were saying, the mama's boys. You love your mom. Boys are very protective of their mom. They're very, very, very protective of their mom, especially if dad's not in the household anymore for whatever reason, That becomes, he's now the man of the house. And part of that is protecting mom and making sure mom's okay and has what mom needs. If they have, a really good relationship, they grew up in a household where the mom was nurturing and she took care of him, and he feels he owes her because of everything that she's done, then okay, but still there's a balance. There has to be balance there. You know what I'm saying? And mom needs to know that just like dad has walked daughter down to give him away, her son has stepped away too. That's why we shed tears. My baby is no longer my baby anymore. That's my baby boy. And we need to be encouraging these marriages to, stay together regardless of whatever we went through in our own relationship, not to bring our own baggage, our own poison, our own grudges and things that we went through into other people's relationships and destroying it. And then everybody's sitting there miserable because misery loves company.